You're an arrogant jerk who screws up everything he touches.
Let's break up with government.
We're done.
That's our show tonight.
What was that odd film clip we just played where I compare that girl breaking up with a guy to breaking up with government? Well, it's a new web TV series by the Independent Institute that actually is about breaking up with government. It's designed to make the problems caused by government more accessible to people by portraying government as an overbearing boyfriend named Gov. The series is called Love Gov, and it's gotten nearly 2 million views.
I know we just met, Alexis, but I care deeply about you. Maybe more than you care about yourself.
That's the kind of thing politicians often say, and the lead character, Alexis, like most Americans, falls for his promises.
I'm gonna buy a house.
Good! Because home ownership, that's the American dream. And everyone deserves to be a part of it. Everyone.
We'll debate that premise that everyone deserves a house later in the show, but let's start by talking about the internet series itself. When I mentioned on Facebook that I was doing a show on it, Dave Gibson wrote, "With all that's going on in the world, you're doing a show about a comedy web series? What's next, the lifestyle of the Kardashians? This is insane drivel. You've now become part of the problem." Really? I shouldn't do a show on this? Well, I disagree, because 2 million people have watched that video. And young people are more likely to watch stuff like that than, say, me on Fox Business. And too many young people do seem to love government. So I'm glad the Independent Institute made LoveGov to tell young people the truth. People like Austin Peterson, who runs the website libertarianrepublic.com, and Alexis Garrettson, who interned at the Independent Institute. Alexis, you have the same name as the star in the film. Did they do it after you?
No, actually after Alexis de Tocqueville.
Okay. And Austin, I mean, you're a long time now libertarian, so you're not being educated by this, but you've now watched this. Is this a good thing?
Yeah, it does. And, you know, when you see Bernie Sanders getting all these tens of thousands of young people across college campuses, you know that something like this is being shared amongst them and it's got them talking. So I'm glad somebody's doing this.
But this Facebook poster says this is inane. It's like doing the Kardashians on this show. I shouldn't do it.
That's what we need. Maybe we need a little bit of Kardashians. Maybe libertarians need our own reality shows, and this is how we're going to win.
And someone did reply on Facebook, Nisha Bergman. In no period of time has the majority been interested in raw knowledge. This pop culture approach will do more for the liberty movement than any lecture.
I definitely agree.
Yeah, well, you know, they say that it doesn't take a majority to succeed. You know, it's just a keen, irate minority those founding fathers knew. I think it was only 3% of the people who supported the revolution. If we can get a small cabal of young people who are interested in revolution, perhaps we can have our own.
Almost all the media that young people consume pushes a big government, anti-capitalist message. How'd you get it? What taught you?
I really was interested in socialism at first, and I was buying into...
Like a lot of young people, and Bernie's fans.
Right, buying into the idea that government was the solution to all of our problems. And I started to read a lot more and realized that, you know, the government is actually hurting us more than it's helping us, kind of like Alexis in the series does. She realizes over time that Gov is really actually hurting her and hurting her chances at a future. And so through reading and learning...
Reading what?
I read The Law by Bastiat first, and just really opened my eyes. And reading Law, Legislation, and Liberty from Hayek.
One thing that bothers me about the video is that they portray the hero, in my opinion, Libby, as a nerd. And Emergent Order, which made the film, said, yeah, we wanted to be accurate, put her on the Asperger's spectrum.
Hey, proud nerd here. I mean, come on. You know, to be a libertarian, you kind of have to read. You know, most of us are indoctrinated into the left-right paradigm, but then we have to read books like this and The Law and Bastiat to sort of break out of the conventional wisdom of what most people believe today.
I think that it takes a lot of thought to, you know, push
People
back
who
against...
think a lot are nerdy?
Yeah, well, actually, if you look at the numbers online, one of the things that you see is that socialists have an enormous market share online, libertarians have a large market share, but conservatives have a very small market share. So I think that we'll see a demographic twist over the next 10, 20, 30 years as the older generation, who are the only people being polled right now, which is incidentally why Rand Paul may not be showing up in some of these higher poll results, because young people aren't being counted.
They aren't being counted because they don't have landlines?
Because they don't have landlines, that's right.
And young people people are tired of establishment politics.
Right.
That's why you see the student movement for Bernie, who's, you know, far left and outside of the Democrat sort of establishment. And you see the student movement for Rand Paul, who is pushing back against establishment politics as well. And I think it's just a matter of time before, you know, as we grow up, we're going to push politics in more interesting and exciting directions.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alexis, Austin. The LoveGov video series has 5 parts. In the first episode, the main characters first meet when Gov collides with Alexis in a college hallway.
So sorry. I will buy you all new books.
Well, that seems wasteful, but you could help me pick them up.
Yes, Gov is wasteful, and at this point, Alexis is so deep in college loan debt and thinking about dropping out of school. Gov notices her withdrawal forms.
Can I have those back?
Student withdrawal form. Are you dropping out?
No. I don't know. Maybe. I'm already 15 grand in debt.
That's what loans are for.
At this point, the video introduces a new character, Alexis's friend, Libby, who we referred to before. She's libertarian and sensible. When Gov encourages Alexis to borrow more to stay in school, and that's what politicians keep proposing, Libby then says,
"But you already have so much debt to pay."
You're gonna have a lifetime to pay off debt. A lifetime. And there's nothing more important than your education. Except maybe corn farmers.